Good morning. So I'm gonna share a vision I had in about 2012 or 11. It's a great one to share. It was in two scenes, and the first one, I believe I did some spiritual exercise on feast day of a Catholic saint, Father Pro, the first martyr on film. Was in Mexico, and he asked permission to go and give mass during the communist period, or the regime that was there, and kicking Catholics out. Didn't work out. They were the Cristeros, anyways. So I did some exercise, like in my room at that night, kneeling down in communion with him, praying for his. He was half away saint, so praying for his canonization and other things in union with him. And then I went to sleep on my wooden floor instead of my bed, and I put the Bible as a pillow instead of a pillow. So here's the vision. It was black and white and a little bit retro, I felt in the spirit, and I see about 4 or 5 young men standing in a circle on the street, and they were looking at something. So yeah, I was curious. I had this feeling of nonchalant, a little bit of smile, maybe like he was, that priest, that saint man who gave his life. So I stepped towards them a few steps, maybe 5, 6, 7, whatever. And I went there and look what they looked like, and they were looking at Spider-Man, Spider-Man magazine, and the spirit was telling me that was evil, because it was already showing them the sexuality through the crouch of Spider-Man. So give it to some extent now if you want pedophilia, but so we can imagine now with the years going that I thought, when I think about it, that young guys, they concentrate there, they do some masturbation at night, that have this kind of magazines, and that doesn't bring thank you for passing very close, that doesn't bring a lot of care about others, and go into a path of you know either holiness alone or marriage, that I was thinking first. So at that point of the vision, I look at this, spirit was telling me this, and a truck pull up, truck, like a jeep truck, with no ceiling in the car, and army guys came out. I was relaxed, I was apostle of divine mercy at that time, and I was all relaxed. And the guy came and stepped towards me. I think he appealed me, but I remember one guy stood and walked towards me more than the others, and he was like a chef because he had a mustache. So that's why the spirit, I thought, is the chef, like the commander of that group. And it was so I'll go faster. He came towards me. He says, "Are you a revolutionary?" And I looked at him and I answered truly. I said, "No." At that time, I had the Tondra in Toronto City, and through visions, I did it. I was a marionette, and the winter, I was not prepared. I just decided to go and share the apartment with the man that gave me birth in this earth. So for the winter times, and just disgusting fornicators pass so close. And after this, I said no. He said okay. He says stand, and he points and he says, stand in that corner of the street. I go there, I stand, they go. I remember I looked around after 2 3 seconds. I'm like, this is boring, you know. So I stood, I just, that corner. I took a right step. As soon as I took a right step, because I was boring, it was boring. The scene changed, and I saw myself on a parking lot that I recognized when I was about 10 years old. I was 10. I was in fourth grade, and came in Montreal. Uh, believe that there was a mall next to the park, and I had some friends. There were Muslims, most of them around this area at that time. Uh, my best friends and the young Samir, the young brother of one of my friend Ali. He came back one time in front of us in the park, and he had all these kind of cheap jewelry. It was all a big deal for me when I looked at it, and I said, where do you get that? He says, it's easy, you go to the big shop, you just steal them. So I'm like, okay, let's go. We went right away, and had those cargo pants, which I didn't wear a lot, but for somehow I remember, because he just, soon as we step up in the game, he just stacked stuff there, and he stacked some big, like deep batteries, big large batteries on the side of my cargo pants. He didn't took nothing. He just stashed me, and I remember when he stashed those batteries, I said, why does he do that? I told myself, this is big battery, it's like, so after it's all done, I just remember we crossed the door. He passed first, I passed second, and a woman grabbed my shirt. I started crying, and they brought me at the back. He left. I looked at him. He left. He brought me at the back. All I remember was crying. Uh, Mom called my mom. The police came. They said they didn't call. But matter of fact, is why I'm saying this is that I saw myself in that parking when I crossed, and I didn't listen to stay there. And that parking was empty. Was kind of a night darkness. It was empty, and I know that the spirit tells me that it's almost like fruitless, because of a criminal background, being careless. It's very dangerous, and that went back when I was 10 years old. When that never got arrested after that, since I was, I think, 17. And I had my share of guilt, non-guilt. Maybe I'll talk about it later. It's not important now. Um, but it might always be guilty too. That's another question. But the thing is, God took me in that scene, and here comes the ice on the cake, so to speak. I was in that parking lot, the end of it, and I saw myself from the heavens, from the sky. I don't know, about 20 meters high, 25, and I look down at me, and I see myself walking, and I see myself starting to cry, because at that moment, Jesus, exactly at that moment, he made me feel in spirit what he feels when one soul goes to hell. Oh my God. Yeah. The heart that he has is not like our heart. Okay, it's like 50 times more. I thought 10, I heard say 20, and I said 50. Uh, I took 3 4 steps, and it went gradually, my feeling, the pain. That I cry with one step. Every step I was taking, it just started to make me feel. And one step, 2 step, 3 step, I cried, and that was it. I woke up in the vision. It took me 5 10 minutes to move. I didn't dare. I already had like cries in my cheek, down here. I was in total distress. I looked around my room. I couldn't move because my heart was so pounding. I knew that if I move, I'll just die of a heart attack. So I had to let it, rest my heart for about 5 10 minutes. I just remembered looking around, crying, looking around my room, crying. And so Jesus made me feel what he feels when one soul goes to hell. And the worst part is that had Divine Mercy Devotion. I was an apostle of it before it became famous with the Vatican in the last year of mercy, and I was called to do this in visions and praying with the sister, the saint that came through that devotion. She just told me to talk to her, show me how to make her appear, stuff like that I never did. And so I had this power of intercession for humans to appeal on the mercy, and I didn't do it. And so he was showing me how to pray for people to not go in hell. And I'll just finish that. So I started to preach in the last month or two in Vancouver, and one time he told me to say, "Pray the Divine Mercy. You might save your." It was 2 3 letters. I wrote it down. You might save your city and maybe the whole world. Who knows? Don't do like I did. So it was a bit like this. God bless you. Bye.